Hey everybody, here we are at the Fantasy Flight Worlds weekend, and I am sitting here with Stuart, who we met at Gen Con. Stuart, tell us what it is that you do with Fantasy Flight, just to remind everybody.
Yeah, sure. I'm the Organized Play Associate here. I am responsible for the game night kits. World Championship weekend was a big team project, but I was sort of the coordinator for this. Basically anything organized play, it's going to come through me.
Nice.
I put in everything from kind of design, working out the designs for the components to actually just packing up envelopes and doing all that stuff.
So from soup to nuts, you're kind of the guy who makes all this stuff happen.
Pretty much.
And so how long did this take from, at what point furthest out did you start working on making all this happen?
We started working on this just before Gen Con.
Nice.
And then just after Gen Con, we started working on it seriously.
Right.
Basically, no matter what, whenever one project ends, the next one starts right up. On Monday, we're going to be starting talking about regionals really hard, so
that's great.
Yeah.
And were you involved in kind of the deliberation process for making Fantasy Play have their own event separate from Gen Con and moving all this stuff out here?
I wasn't. I was actually the result of that process.
Okay.
We wanted to expand organized play, so they hired me.
Nice.
I wasn't there for that deliberation, but I definitely think it was a good decision to come out here.
Yeah, totally. It's been a great decision. Now, what would you say about this weekend so far has been the reason that made this a good idea, and what, looking forward into the future, would be something that you might change or enhance and make better?
Oh, sure. I think one of the great things about having it on our own location is that we're not beholden to anyone else's schedule.
Yeah.
With Gen Con, we have strict timelines that we have to abide by. When we came out here, we had a situation where we had the Netrunner final, the top four, and some of the players were hoping to be playing in Joust in the morning. So we actually managed to stretch the schedule out a little bit. Everyone agreed to play the semifinals early, and then those AGOT players actually ended up eliminated, but it worked out perfectly for everyone. And it was great because then the Netrunner finals came today, and you saw they were hours.
Yes.
So those AGOT players would not have been involved. But yeah,
that's true.
For things we can improve, there's a lot. It's very cramped this year. The schedule's everything's on top of everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like Steve was saying, we're going to be doing 4 full days next
year.
And that'll give us a lot more breathing room and let people play in even more games, which I know there's a lot of demand for the minis games, Dust Warfare and X-Wing overlap, AGOT and Netrunner overlap. There's a lot of overlap, and we're going to try and do away with as much of that as we can.
And given how successful it appears this year has been in and of itself, is there any plans on anticipating a bigger head count? And if that does transpire, where would you hold the whole thing?
That's something that we're going to have to seriously discuss, because we had a great turnout this year, even bigger than I expected.
Sure.
It turned out well enough that I'm anticipating a lot more people coming next year.
Yeah.
So we'll be having discussions about space and how we're going to fit everything together.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing how all that pans out and develops, and thanks so much for talking with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And stay tuned to Team Covenant for extra content from this awesome convention, guys.